Miss Jackson.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Creator Cast with me, Claymxres, and my lovely co-host,
ColourWhiteGaming, and today we have a special guest that goes by the name of
the GoldenRush, or Dave, just for ease, I guess.
We're gonna go with Dave.
We're gonna go
Dave will do.
So Dave, first thing, general introduction about yourself.
Wannabe writer, I guess. Oh, I try my best anyway. I used to run a blog that I'm restarting soon, and very brief stint on Twitch, and that's about it. I basically create stories, or try to, and write about stories.
We'll touch on the stories a bit later.
Yeah, the blog will mainly focuses on movie, TV, gaming, football. Basically, most things with a story to tell.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me.
So, question that me and Jordan, we asked each other, first episode, quarantine. Your experience through quarantine and, what's it been like?
Well, my day-to-day normal life hasn't really changed much because I've been working through it. I haven't really got any free time off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the normal get up for work, go to work, get home, play video games,
Just
mostly, or watch TV.
Day-to-day life.
Yeah,
Basically.
normal 9 to 5.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much. But the main thing that's changed is that I haven't been able to see family, because before all this, I usually go and see family once a week.
Yeah.
Usually anyway, maybe miss a week here and there, but yeah. But of course, during all this, sort of just moseying around on my own.
Yeah.
Okay.
PlayStation's been alright though.
I'm just gonna add whilst we're on the quarantine. So, a lot of people have gone ups and downs when it comes to mental health during quarantine. I would just like to know how you're coping with your mental health, if you're suffering at all, and maybe some advice on things you could do to relieve mental health.
Stress.
Well, I guess if you're in my position where you live on your own, I guess loneliness could be like a big thing that could impact someone. And to that, I just say talk to your mates all the time. Sort of what I end up doing. And, pretty much most days I come home and I jump in a PlayStation party, a lot of the time with you guys. So that sort of just takes away all the risk of that happening. So that's pretty much all the advice I got, is what I do. But mental health wise for me, again, my life really hasn't changed other than just missing family, but I guess lack of sleep a little more, which apparently is happening all over the country.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are getting a lot less sleep now.
Insomnia is a bitch.
Agreed. It happens bad. I think one time I had to get up at 6 for work and I just couldn't sleep at all. And I swear I fell asleep at about 4.
That sounds like a rough one. And then a full day's work, came home, probably got jumped on PlayStation.
Pretty much. I think I fell asleep at a party.
So, stories in school life. We all had our friendship group that stuck together through thick and thin. People's left, people's joined. Alongside that, to deal with the pressures and stress of school, to release yourself from what happened at school, whatever happened, you wrote stories.
Yeah. Well, I fell in love with movies around early 2010s, I would say, and fell in love with stories in general when I used to read things like Roald Dahl and comic books as a kid. So it sort of just, I ended up understanding how to craft a story before really doing it properly myself. So I've always been creative.
Yeah.
In a way, I'd always think of things in my head and go, "Oh, that would be a good idea," and then just move on from it.
Yeah.
So I sort of just started wanting to do it myself, and for quite a while I'd sit and write a lot, and there'd be people saying, "Oh, you're wasting your time." Family members who'd say I'd waste my time. So most of the time I said, "Oh, it's for practicing handwriting or something."
Yeah.
That's an excuse I used for quite a few years until I sort of gained the confidence to just say, "Nah, my handwriting's always gonna be shit. I'm just writing because it's cool."
I remember. I don't know if
And
you
yeah,
remember it, but I remember your first story that you came to me with. I don't know what you came with Jordan because you've been friend with Jordan longer than me, but it was like a mix of Maze Runner, Pokemon, and Hunger Games. Because you knew that Jordan loved Maze Runner, I loved Hunger Games, and you love Pokemon. And
yeah.
the thing is with your stories, you love integrating real life people like your friends and family into a story and making that story like a bit personal to you.
Yeah. When you're a kid, that happens more because your family's mostly what you experience.
Yeah.
But then as I grew older, I sort of started creating characters based on the people in real life. And that's sort of the end game of character creation.
Yeah.
Because a lot of professional writers, let's say, whether it be Stephen King who said this and George R. R. Martin, they always create characters based on people they know, whether that's a character from somewhere else or personal people in their lives. It's sort of that's basically the peak of character creation, because basing them on a real character who you know in real life, it makes the character a lot more grounded. You have something to sort of use as reference.
Yeah. So with that, do you when you write these stories or when you wrote these stories, I know personally some of them you came to me and actually like asked my permission to be in. I was like, yeah, that this sounds fucking cool. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to be big enough to be in a story or be in a movie or something. So if one of my friends wants to put me in a fucking book that they're writing, go for it. And the one question I've got for you here is multiple questions. But the first one is, when you get the idea of bringing a friend into it, do you take all their personality traits over to the book? Like, obviously everyone's got bad and good traits. Do you take the good and the bad and put it into a character, or just pick and choose what you want and what the character should be?
Sometimes I'd pick and choose, but most of the time it ends up being like a more extreme reflection of the real life person.
Yeah.
Because my main focus with all of my stories, no matter how far they go into like the fantasy genre or whatever, is that you always want to keep the characters grounded.
Yes.
Hold on, I'm sidetracking from the question, but that's like the main thing. So you've got to keep them as close as you can for the story to the real person.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they start drifting out, just drifting into whatever. Oh god, it's trying to describe it, but they start drifting too far from reality, and then you've lost that character. That people won't care about that character. You know,
George,
I think that's.
I've got a question for you, mate, on this. Did you ever write Did you write stories during Did you have a stint of story writing during secondary?
I did actually, yeah. Because of Dave, actually, yeah. There was a time when it was probably a bit younger than secondary school, actually, maybe early secondary school. I was a big fan of Beyblade, so
yeah.
I seen what Dave was doing, how he was integrating family and friends into this fantasy world that he really liked, and I thought I could do it as well. So I did a couple of chapters and stuff and really enjoyed it, but obviously I'm not as creative as Dave, so I ran out of ideas, and that was about it. But Dave, I got a question for you. A bit more of a fun one, a bit less serious. So obviously you love superheroes and all bits and bobs. Pardon me. If you had to give me and Clay a superpower, what would you give us and why?
Oh god.
There we go.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Or if you could if you could relate us to a superhero.
I don't think I could do that. to be honest. But
I was saying I
if
might
I were
have
to
a
give
cop
each of
like
you
Bruce
like
Banner.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna give Clates a like super strength type thing,
Whoa,
like
get on.
like give me a second. This one's tricky. I'd make George maybe Quicksilver, but without the Ultimate Comics rep.
Questions there.
Yeah. I'd give you Quicksilver, but don't look into the Ultimate Universe comics because you don't want to be that Quicksilver.
Right.
Incest for note. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Comic books went proper weird in the 2000s, but
Could tell.
Right.
like main universe Quicksilver or MCU's Quicksilver, whichever one. Maybe the Evan Peters one, but I'm going a bit too deep with this.
Surfboard thing, innit?
No, that's Silver Surfer.
Oh fuck! Who's
Quicksilver is well, let's look at the X-Men movies. One of the only things they got right. The guy who sort of slows down time around him. He's got like silver hair, the goggles.
With the goggles, yeah.
Yes, Quicksilver's fucking awesome.
Our poots.
The X-Men movies, I don't rate them, but they nailed that character so well. Just his essence, he just wants fun around him. It's brilliant.
Go on, me, Dave.
Clayton.
Okay, it's got to be that blue hair, motherfucker.
Again, if I were to give you a character, Ben Grimm, and in the movies he wasn't given the thing basically, but in the movies he wasn't done very well. In the comics, he's not the Hulk who becomes brainless. He's always smart. He's like the heart of the Fantastic Four, very much so. So he doesn't lose his head, but he's definitely got the strength behind him.
Just look ugly as fuck and made out of rock.
Yeah, but if you
I have a big
aside
penis?
from that, you know.
Yeah, the man
Aside
bun.
from that. The thing with a man bun.
You think you're pretty much there?
Yeah.
I just need to know. Technically, he's rock hard all the time. Does he have a penis?
I'm not sure. I don't. I don't know.
I prefer not to speak. I in trouble. No,
I don't think I could answer that question, but I know if you want to know, in the MCU, the Hulk does have a penis.
You said
It's
on the
canon
thing
that the Hulk has a penis. Yeah, I know, but you're talking about superheroes' penises. I got an interesting penis story, okay? Someone had to do a 3D model of the bulge in Hulk's trousers. There was someone whose job it was for 6 months to model the Hulk's penis.
Fair play.
In the Avengers movie.
George.
I mean, it's not a bad wage for creating a penis, but I wouldn't want that man's job.
Do you remember the last 2 episodes of the thing that you kept saying? BD.
What's that?
Big dick energy.
Big dick energy! Come on, Dave, I need you to say it for the podcast.
Magic. Alright. Big dick energy!
Oh. That's gonna need turning down and editing. Reminder to Clayton, thank you. Yeah, so this has got way off that topic. I can't even say this is gonna go hand in hand. Pokemon, as you can tell, Dave's camera isn't on for his reason, and he doesn't want it on, and that's fine. We'll get guests.
Anonymity.
Yeah, he can. We'll have guests who have their camera. We'll have guests who don't want to have their camera on. It's just a thing of life. Get used to it. Okay?
Like H2O Delirious, but with a more annoying laugh somehow.
So, Dave, I've known you for a while now. We've played Pokemon together. We've had arguments over Pokemon. You're obviously the superior, out of all 3 of us here, you are the superior Pokemon fan. I'm more getting into it now than when I was younger. I was more into like Bakugan and Beyblades and stuff like that. And chucking fucking sticks at people. But Pokemon was never my young thing. Pokemon's become a thing as I've got older. Like Sword and Shield, I love Sword and Shield. I know you have your opinion on Sword and Shield. That
I do.
But I want to take it back to the old school days of playing. I can't actually remember what the website was, but you could build teams and fight against each other.
Oh, Pokemon Showdown.
That's it. And we used to play that fucking tons.
Yes. Really good.
When was the first time?
I beat Dave.
Using Sword and Shield
Bastard.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
I have to add that in
Fair enough.
quotation.
I gotta get my claim
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fame.
yeah.
I've gone off the competitive side just so people know as well. I'm
When was the
I'm
first
not a
time?
battler. I'm like a professor, I guess.
Yeah.
If you were related to
When was the first time
Pokemon.
you remember seeing anything to do with Pokemon? Like the first time you fell in love with Pokemon.
Ooh, where was it? Of course, I think I entered the same as everyone else through Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
I entered around probably early Gen 3, so about 2000, not early Gen 3, sorry, about 2005, I'd say. And everyone at school, of course, had Pokemon cards and stuff, and I wanted in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I wasn't always. I'm trying to think. I wasn't majorly into the cards. I think as soon as I discovered the games and got into the games, they were always my main thing.
Yeah.
And plus, the cards just ended up being absurd amounts of money that
Yeah,
I was like a 12-year-old feeling bad for my dad paying £3 whatever it was for 10 cards.
Yeah.
So it's like, no thanks. I think I dipped in around Diamond and Pearl time, card game wise. So it was only about 3-4 years into the card game that I kept up with it.
Yeah.
But video games wise, I've played and completed basically all Pokemon games. You
Apart
get
from
so many
Shield,
spin-offs
Sword.
in Pokemon. I have completed those.
Well, you completed Sword. I didn't think you had Sword. I thought you had
Yes.
Shield.
No, I bought my brother Shield, and then I
okay,
got
yeah.
Sword.
Okay.
But yeah, I completed Sword finally. I think I completed it in January or February time. I'm unimpressed, to be honest.
Here we go. This is one of two arguments in this podcast. There is a very heated one coming up later. Stay tuned.
Just comparing Sword and Shield to the peak of Pokemon, it's nowhere near the quality that it was.
No.
I'd say the peak of Pokemon was Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Platinum, and Black and White. That's was the peak.
Fucking games. That's the proper.
Were they 3D
game.
based games by any chance?
No, they were just before. I think Pokemon transitioned to 3D a couple games later in 2013.
Because I like,
with
no
X and Y.
offense, obviously the Pokemon is going to be a classic franchise for years. It's going to be like a well-known franchise for fucking until I die, probably.
Third highest grossing media franchise, I'm pretty sure.
But
wow,
I think 3D is just better on people's eyes. Obviously, the classic people who love and played the old games are going to say, "Oh yeah, 2D, blah, 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 platform, like that type thing." I'm going to love that, but I think 3D is so much nicer on the eyes. They could have done better with replicating England because they just chose London. They did not replicate England.
Yeah.
If you played Sword and Shield, you haven't experienced England. They should have made it the whole of England.
To be fair, the next DLC is based on the Isle of Man or the Isle of Wight. It's sort of a mix of both. So,
which is
interesting.
Pretty stupid as it isn't connected to England.
Yeah, well, for me, when they transitioned to 3D, a lot of the character models and the Pokemon art itself lost a lot of its expression.
Yeah.
So, personally, I've thought about this for ages. What I would do as Nintendo is have both like a 3D series of games and a classic sort of 2D series as well, like a smaller budget 2D series on the side.
Yeah.
Both of them with basically similar gameplay and mechanics of the main series. Both of them basically both be in the main series, but then it could link to both fans, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Because there's no doubt in my mind that character models and stuff were way more expressive in like Gen 5, Black and White, and Black and White 2 than they are with the 3D, but they have been getting a lot better in recent years. Sword and Shield, one thing I have to give it props for, the character models and the Pokemon models themselves are really expressive in that, nearly getting to the point where it was at the end of 2D.
Yeah. It's trial and error though, isn't it? You can't. It's like with any game out there. It's not. The aim isn't to please everyone. It's to please as many as you can.
Yeah.
And that goes for a lot of things. Like with this being the creator cast, with anything you create, there's gonna be people who don't like it. And I've come to terms with my Twitch, with my YouTube, with stuff like that. With this, there's gonna be people that think, oh, this podcast was boring. I don't give a fuck. I find these podcasts fun. Whatever I record on this podcast, I find it fun. Or I would not talk about it, I would not publish it, I would not put it out there. If I put it out there into the world, I enjoy it. If I enjoy it and you don't like it, you don't have to click on it. You don't have to like it.
Thank God it's not just me going off on tangents.
No, I'm
over here with a fucking zip mouth.
Like, but if you don't put out content that you like, then how do you expect other people to like it? That's my way of thinking. Well, if I rewatch this podcast and I don't like it, I'll be going, lads, can we redo it? There's not enough energy, but up to now,
big dick energy.
Yeah, but it's up to now. These podcasts have been sick. Like the amount of people that have messaged, because I got my Snapchat. I'll add it down below if you want to add me.
He's the big one out of us two.
No, the things that I get on Snapchat are people going, "Yo, I've watched your podcast. I subscribed. I've liked it. It's sick. I never thought like you had these views on this thing, or like so that like getting good feedback." But when negative feedback comes along, I won't push it to the side. I will read it and go, okay, let me rewatch that and see if it happens. I think, Dave, you give me feedback I want to bring up quickly. You said, like, Jordan's mic got quieter towards the end. I was like, okay.
The second one.
I'm not going to lie. I edit it quick as fuck, because last week we recorded it on the Friday. I said it in the podcast. We were recording this the day of it getting put out. I said it. I was totally honest.
Big late minute thing.
Totally honest. Me and Jordan was just too busy during the week. I got a VPG team. Me and George got a VPG team. He's co-manager, I'm manager. We're busy. So it came to Friday. We recorded it. I did not sieve through everything because I know my recording process is perfect. I did the first like 20 minutes of the podcast and I was like, okay, there's no audio fuck ups from now. Everything else should be fine. It wasn't. There was a bit of an audio issue at the end, but it wasn't massive. It was just Jordan was a little bit quiet.
Yeah, because I think I was listening to it on the bus at the time, and there was a few bits that I couldn't hear, like really well anyway.
Like that.
To be fair, I'm deaf as a bat, so
that constructive feedback I'll allow. But if there's people going, "Oh, your podcast is shit. I did not enjoy it," don't watch it. You must have watched all of it to think that it's shit. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be plenty of people who like it. To be honest with you, going off on my tangent there about people who don't like stuff. That's what I said. Pokemon is with any game. Call of Duty. People hate Call of Duty for what it is now. I love Modern Warfare. I think Modern Warfare.
Oh yeah, I think Modern Warfare is the best COD game since Black Ops 2.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Yeah, facts. I don't know. I don't know. World War 2. I've been playing World War 2 recently, and that shit's sick.
Yeah.
That got too much hate.
Quickly. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've recently picked up World War 2 with the PS Plus free games, and I think I've already chucked like 4 or 5 hours into it this week. And genuinely, it's really fun. Like, it properly feels. It properly feels like World at War. It's basically World at War remastered, except the PPSH isn't overpowered anymore.
Yeah, it's the PPSH. The PPS. I'll tell you some attachments. The PPS is overpowered. I dropped 40
not having good times.
I dropped 40 like Sonic on TDM, which is like 75 kills. I dropped like 42, I think it was. Nasty PPSH.
Fair play.
Yeah, we have to get some games on that.
I just wanted to wrap up the Pokemon thing.
Yeah. Carry on.
There have been good 3D games. I just think they're trying to get the general audience in quite a lot these days, especially with Sword and Shield. That's why it sort of reduced it a little bit, especially with the story and wise. It brought it a little more back to basics. The DLCs, however, they are really redeeming themselves. I know I took the mick out a little bit, but the Isle of Armor coming out this month looks pretty damn cool. And then the DLC coming out later in the year called the Crown Tundra, even though the Legendary looks
iffy,
bit trash, they're doing like alternate forms of the classic bird trio.
Is that
Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres.
That's it.
They got like a Dark type Moltres, Psychic type Articuno,
Lightning in it.
and Fighting type Zapdos.
Oh.
They've like changed the typings. They look brilliant, but
because they've always been the trio on the card,
Sword and Shield.
They've always been because you used to get the tag team cards in Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
They used to. There was the bird. That's how I know them as the bird trio of that. And then you got the dragon duo, which is Charizard and fuck, I don't know, I can't remember.
Yeah, this is all card game stuff. I to be completely honest, don't barely follow the card
What did you
game.
say, Jord?
Rayquaza.
It might be Rayquaza.
Yeah, that was part of the weather trio with Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, it was on Randolph's channel, which is where I get most of my Pokemon stuff from. I'm not claiming to be a Pokemon fucking master. I get it from Randolph.
Max Mofo Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just got to give a shout to the drunk Australian man.
So, going on to the next subject of what do you have planned for the future? What's your endeavours? What do you want to get into?
Career-wise, I have no idea, but
anything wise,
outside
gaming?
of that wise, just read more comics. So I need to make more time and money to read more comics because I haven't been very good at keeping up with DC, and I don't really read Marvel comics, to be honest. Because DC comics-wise, absolutely nail it. But future-wise, read more comics. Restart the blog. I want to do like monthly roundups of like each topic: movies, TV, games, football. I want to do like a monthly roundup of each of those. What else? I want to properly get focused on my writing, which is always pretty difficult to focus because there's always something going on in life that in the background, and it really, I'm one that needs a lot of focus.
Are you
which
going
is
to
a pain, but
are these going to be published, like somewhere?
Yes. I want to finally put my stuff out there because it's been years that I've had these story ideas and putting like plans together for it and then not actually getting to write it because I'm too busy I have to prioritize other things.
Yeah.
But I want to finally write it and put it out there because I guess my main aim is the same one from like 4 or 5 years ago. I want to create a realistic Pokemon world that, even though it keeps the core of the Pokemon games and such, it keeps that little fun core there. On the outside, I can address real topics.
Yeah.
I can do real things with the characters.
Well, I look forward to it, and when that does happen, I will get a link off Dave, and I'll get a link off Dave and put it in the description.
Light bulb.
Live action. Dave, what do you think about George being robbed of a light bulb? It's been robbed.
George's electronics are going shambles live on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's alright. This happens every fucking week. We just leave it in. We live and we learn. George room will be slowly getting dark as time goes on, but.
Oh yeah, drink more ale. That's another one I want to do more of.
Drink more ale. I found ale disgusting. Me and George worked in the same pub.
Ow.
We drink
mid-podcast. We're gonna try and fix this.
It's okay. So ignore Jordan for a second. Me and George both worked in the same pub.
Fuck.
And and we had to taste ale, and it was fucking horrible.
Depends on the stuff you go for, I guess.
I
like everything Brewdog near enough. They just make good ale. They just make great stuff.
I don't know if we had Brewdog. We had what was the company that we had, Jord? The one that made Tribute.
I'm trying to sort this out.
Hello.
There?
They owned the pub, Jord. I can't remember who it was owned by. Something Breweries.
St.
Austell Breweries. So they do Tribute, like Cornwall beer, stuff like that. Well, ale.
Look at this light.
Yeah, I don't think I've tried it, to be honest.
It's fucking vile, but people said that they loved it, and it was the best one that I've tasted was the Lancaster Bomber.
Yeah.
Ale's an acquired taste, I guess. Like, you either love it or
like
not
Marmite.
much. I think. But then I know nothing. It's my dad that's like the ale encyclopedia. So that's why I want to sort of drink more, because we end up chatting about it. So
as we're halfway through this now, I want to go to a little bit of a serious note with what's going on in the world right now. So first of all, I'm going to talk about Madeleine McCann and the story that's been dug up about her. That a 43-year-old German man is in prison for unrelated crimes, is now #1 suspect of the murder of Madeleine McCann, who disappeared 13 years ago in Portugal in the Algarve. What they know about it is he had a caravan near near where Madeleine McCann stayed, and just after Madeleine McCann's disappearance, he sold it and went back to Germany. This could be true. It could just be another misleading suspect. It's one of the I think it's the first suspect that they had. Like, the parents were suspects at one point. In my opinion, I thought it was the parents. I still think it is the parents. I think this is a
Remember, we gotta say allegedly, so we don't get sued.
I think that's what I said. I think.
Ah, right, there we go. There's the legal word.
Sue me, bitch.
I think, to be honest, with the Madeleine McCann case, on a serious note, the main thing for it at the minute is not as much who done it as much as that is important. I think it's just closure of the case, and everyone that's been working on this case for so long to finally get it over the line and get what the result they were deserved.
And then funding can actually go to the NHS, because the amount of funding that's been put into this, like, for a girl that's been missing 13 years, as much as I hate to say this, that money could have been spent on the NHS, and we could have probably dealt with this coronavirus a bit better.
There's a few things that we could have done better, I think, but we're here now.
And I think George froze. Oh, there he's back.
Oh, he's moving again.
There we go. We're good.
Yeah, and the second thing which has happened, I'm recording this the 4th of the 6th, which is June.
Yep.
4th of June. Quarantine's got my days mixed up again. I think all of us here can guarantee and say Black Lives Matter. Racism has no place in this world, in what we love. We love football. All of us, we're football fanatics. There's no room for racism in that. There's no room for racism in the general world either. It is a thing of the past. It needs to end, as it's getting over the top.
We need to move on as the human race.
As the human race,
As I said, I agree with the protests that are happening in America. I hope all goes well. Be safe out there. But please don't go looting. Do not loot. Do not loot for personal gain.
No.
Because that's using Black Deaths in vain, in my opinion. I'm not one to speak on it that much, as I am a white, kind of privileged male.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We'll never be fully able to speak.
I said this.
We won't be able to put ourselves in their shoes, basically, because we've never experienced.
I said this to my Black American friend. I said to him, "I'll never be able to experience what your generation or your parents or your grandparents ever experienced. I would never be able to experience it unless something happened and roles reversed and some magical freaky stuff happened, but I'll never be able to experience what you've been through."
Yeah.
But I don't think I should be punished for another person's actions. Not all white people are bad. Not all police officers are bad.
I think everyone knows that, to be honest. Like, they're basically, it doesn't matter what race you are or whatever, there's cunts everywhere.
Yeah. But
and that's the best way I could put it.
Going with that, there was a police officer yesterday who got put in hospital. In England, this was. He got beat up during one of the London marches. He got sold out from his troop, and he got beat up, and he's in a coma right now in hospital fighting for his life. Yeah. He didn't deserve it. The incident happened over in America. He was not the one kneeling on George Floyd's neck. Rest in peace, George Floyd. He was not the one who shot multiple other black people. We do not have that many armed police in the UK. We do not have guns in the UK that are easily available in America, which makes it easier for crime, but makes it harder for knife crime. We have a lot of knife crime over here. But sticking to the main point is, this officer did not deserve it. As George Floyd,
yeah.
But we can all say we stand with you. We stand with the BLM movement.
I mostly just want to go over two topics.
Yep.
Obviously, what in this country, one of the sort of main things you hear that racism happens in quite a lot is football. And I just want to say, if you're racist for your team or have some sort of delusion like that, you're being a fake fan on that day. If you're there shouting racist abuse at other players and all that shit, you're being a plastic fan at that time. Maybe you're not, but I don't care how long you've been going or how often you go or something like that. If you're there shouting abuse at the other team, racist abuse or anything like that, then you are being a fake fan in that moment.
I think that's the minority, though. I think there's probably about 2% of people.
Oh, it's a vocal minority. I'll give it that, I think. But there is still happening. It's still a vocal minority in a lot of stadiums and basically everywhere. So I just want to give my piece on that.
You can't paint everyone with the same brush.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll give it that.
I'd like to say my piece on it. Obviously, what Clay and Dave have also said, I fully support the BLM movement. Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of things on the internet lately that I've seen. Well, all lives matter, but at the moment, the Black Lives Matter is the more important thing at the moment. It's the more relevant thing. Yeah, again, touching on what Clay said, when it comes to the riots, be careful and stuff like that. And yeah, just stay safe.
Yeah, I got a video in mind that I sort of saw early on. It's from a football YouTuber called FNG, and it's about a 20-minute video. Hold on.
Sure.
I'll hold off a second.
Do you want to mute yourself a second, Potter?
Yeah, it's alright, it's nothing.
There we go. Yeah. Reintroduction of Jordan's dad.
Yeah.
As Dave's saying,
from the first.
Dave's going to link me a video which I'll put in the description which explains what we're trying to say if we've said it all wrong.
And it explains why all lives matter, especially that movement, especially at the moment. It's just not needed. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I think the all lives matter movement, the best perspective to put it in is that Black Lives. Let's put two houses, right? One of them's white, one of them's black. The White House, all spick and spam, all good, right? But the Black House is on fire, and you've got a hose pipe. You're obviously going to spray it at the Black House, yeah?
Yes.
But the whole All Lives Matter movement is just saying, well, my house needs spraying as well. Well, it's not on fire.
All houses matter, yeah. I've seen it.
FNG talked about it on his video, and I think he'll explain it a lot better than me, but I think that's the best way to put all lives matter. It's just not needed at the moment because it's just, for some reason, maybe it's like what white people thinking they're just talking about blacks, so that hurts my ego in some way or something like that. I can only theorize because I can't put myself in their shoes because it's just ridiculous. But it's just not needed at the moment. It's just annoying. That's all you're being if you're using that hashtag. You're just being annoying and attention seeking.
Yep.
Because it's not about you. It's at the moment the injustice isn't on us. It's on POCs. So that's
if you know
my
what POCs is, people
of color. Video.
By the way.
Yeah, it's alright.
POC stands for people of color.
FNG videos. Yeah. POC, person of color. But go and watch that FNG video because I think he has one of the best perspectives because he's grown up in the UK as mixed race. And I think he has some of the best examples from his own life, so I think he can explain everything better than us. That's my piece. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about it because we need to support it as well.
Yeah, do your part. There's things that you can do. Josh Zerka put a Twitter out. If you know who Zerka is, British YouTuber, part of the Sidemen. He put a thing out what us Englishmen can do to, English people can do to help the American cause. There is a petition for it to become first-degree murder, as it's only second-degree right now. There's a petition for the Black Lives Matter movement. They put an address on there, which you can put in because it asks for an American address, as it's an American petition. Put it in, sign it. It's got well over the needed signatures, but more the fucking merrier is what I say.
We'll see if Donald Trump actually have the balls to address it.
Donald Trump needs to get out of his fucking bunker and resign.
Oh, he did. He did. He went to a church to do a photo shoot.
Yeah, and then
while
waving
using tear gas to move people, including the priests and stuff, out of the way.
Yeah,
He used tear gas to move a crowd for a picture.
Yeah, well, if it was a video,
Damn.
wasn't it? There's a video of him
Yeah,
waving the Bible
whichever
around.
one.
He was
Yeah.
waving a Bible around. You do not have the courteous of waving that Bible around. You are the most unreligious man I've ever seen. You are a selfish pig who needs to be out of power. You are. There's been many dictators in time, and you are becoming one of them. I do not think he is fit to be president of America. If you're a Trump fan, I'm sorry
Fuck
for you.
you.
I am sorry for you.
I mean,
I do not see.
I speak for myself, but fuck you.
Everyone has their own opinion at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
I'm sorry. I
I'm
feel
not
sorry
here
for
to judge
you.
anyone.
I feel sorry for you,
That's-
but
That's what
It's
makes
your
us humans
opinion.
so special.
I don't know
We
what
have
you
our
see
own-
in it.
We have our own opinion each.
I have no idea what they see in him, but somehow the Bible Belt still fucking love him. Somehow, even though he's done all this dodgy shit, somehow the Bible Belt are still stupid enough to love him. Eee. Jeez, wouldn't
Right.
want to live there.
we'll go back on a much lighter subject. Well,
All right.
Yeah,
it's
tell you what.
We've
I'll
done
tell
the
you what.
serious.
it's
No, so
it's
that.
oh no, it's getting
Oh.
heated.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we switch it up, Dave? We asked you questions in the first half of the podcast. Why don't you switch it up and ask us?
What questions do you want to know about us? Ooh,
Fuck me, I don't know.
why does George's face keep freezing?
Jesus.
That's a good question.
Oh god.
Sorry, you could ask me. Oh, here he goes. He's back.
Alright. Favorite movies from each of you. You can say like one or two if you want.
Top Gun.
Whoa, good. Very good.
I love fucking jets.
Yeah. Again, great movie. I love Tom Cruise. Like Mission Impossible movies are awesome as well, most of them. And yeah, so I just love Tom Cruise. So that is a really good shout. Maybe like an honorable mention for second or third.
Second.
Hello.
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 Second favorite
We talking
movie.
about movies.
Everyone's gonna hate it, but it's one of my. It's the only musical I could sit through and watch, and I enjoy every song on the musical. It's a film. It's Cats, the movie.
I took that as a I just have a cold shiver through my whole body.
It got such bad
okay.
it got such bad things.
Great.
I can
It had
George,
such bad CGI. It had to release a patch post-release.
yeah, George, we can hear you, mate.
I'm not hear you.
George, you might want to turn your camera back on, mate. There we go.
I don't know if he can hear us.
George,
This is messy.
I can hear him. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear him as well. I don't know if he can hear us. He's singing Star Wars.
Yeah.
I swear that's Star Wars that he's humming. Oh, this is brilliant. This is staying in. Come on.
Yeah. George.
The phone just fucking fell as soon as he put it down.
George.
Already know the name.
George.
Oh god.
This is staying in, but I
This
think
has got to stay in.
give me a second. I need to message this man.
This is good anyway, because I didn't have very good questions for you guys, so you fucking saved me here.
He's left the call.
Oh, he's
There we
dead.
go. Now you get to see the behind the scenes,
Oh, man.
behind the sscenes. Alright, so this is getting
Yeah.
edited out. I'm gonna have to do so much editing.
Yay!
No. Jordan.
Right, can I go see when we're editing, can I go piss quick?
No.
See, you're cutting this out, come on.
No.
I've been drinking too much. Oh,
Your fault. We're carrying on.
please.
George, can you hear us?
Fuck.
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh,
I kind of
alright.
need a piss, man.
It's okay. We'll wrap it up. We've got 15 minutes, Dave. Can you last 15 minutes?
I don't know.
Well, we'll last in 15 minutes.
Alright. Well,
So, George,
yeah,
Dave's question for us was, what was your favourite film?
yeah, one or two of your favorite movies.
Maze Runner and
Knew that was coming.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
What a
For when I
film.
was a kid. For when I was a kid. That
What a
was
fucking
absolute-
film that was.
Again, I can relatively understand Maze Runner, but
Don't you dare
one,
disrespect.
what?
Don't you dare disrespect.
Charlotte and
Dave.
Abigail was a banger when I was a kid. When I was a kid, that was the film.
Dream,
I
dream,
always
dream,
watched.
dream, dream,
Nostalgia.
dream.
Close your eyes, shut your
Alright.
mouth, dream and dream and get us out.
What a banger.
Alright. I'll say my guilty pleasure, my sort of so bad it's good movie is probably the live action Scooby-Doo ones. They're so terrible, they're entertaining.
I got a funny story about this actually. Me and my mum was trying to watch Scoob, the new movie that came out.
Yeah.
We were trying to watch it. And I sat there with me and my mum, my mother's friend, and we sat there looking at the TV. We go, "The fuck's this?" I swear I just saw a tit. Mum goes, "What?" No, I didn't see it. Mum's friend go, "Hey, you're just picturing tits." I was like, "No, watch." And then the next scene, it goes on to fucking Shaggy absolutely ramming in this blonde bird. It turns out to be Scooby-Doo porn. Live action. I was like, I thought the acting was bad in this. I said, I told you I saw a tit. I wasn't lying.
Did you accidentally put on like Rule 34 shit? Like,
Well, it was just on the Fire Stick, so we was just looking at it, just chilling. It was like, oh, it's on the Fire Stick. Scoob 2020. Oh, let's watch the new Scoob. Let's not watch the new Scoob. He's absolutely bending her over the bed. I was like,
accidentally put on Scooby-Doo porn.
well, it said Scoob 2020, but I guarantee you it was not recorded in 2020.
People.
Yeah, he has. He's baited people. Well, baited some people. Some people might enjoy that. But you got like Velma going, I don't want to know Scoob. Scoob, fucking. If you bring Scoob along, we could have a threesome. I was like, no, my child, no.
The furry.
Oh god.
Yeah,
That is horrible.
so
Right then, Dave, any more?
I got a question which is gonna split the room.
Oh
Go on.
god.
PlayStation v Xbox.
I'm fence.
Oh,
Me and
What?
Dave can't talk about this.
your fence.
No, I'm completely fence. Like between the both. In recent years, Xbox have really redeemed the Xbox One, so I have a lot of love for that. The company is constantly listening to fans.
Alright.
But then the PS4, especially the PS4 Pro, is the ultimate console. It's the best games console on the market. But again, there's next gen. PS5 has a little bit of catching up to do PR-wise. But other than that,
Yeah.
That's my piece.
I think
I'm always on the fence. I love them both.
No.
So I'm always balanced on
I
that.
don't know what he's doing there, so if you two can hear me,
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Oh, he's done it again! George, you're making
Fuck
me
me.
edit!
Fuck me.
Normally your
Oh.
internet's perfect, George, but your internet's being poopy. No! George, are you here? George?
There we go. I don't know why it keeps doing this, but it is.
Excuse George,
This has
isn't
been
it?
played with technical issues.
Oh. Normally it's never like this.
I'm
The last episode I had one little bit at the end, so we just kept it in. But
Yeah.
fuck me, the first episode went smooth as a butterfly, or whatever you say about that. I can't remember.
Right, let's get on with it.
Yeah,
'Cause-
Right.
trying to.
TV show wise, I recommend everybody see Game of Thrones because it's just so good. I've been rewatching it and I'm on season 7, and it's just one of the best TV shows of all time.
In your
yeah,
opinion.
Basically, when I left anyway, I was PlayStation, by the way, but that's all I'm saying. Because I
Yeah,
don't
of
wanna get
course.
into it.
I'm
But that's-
PlayStation. I'm
again,
PlayStation as well, but
I think it's all down to personal preference, to be honest. That's what it is. I'm on the fence because I love them both, but obviously my friends base are like my friendship group are always on PlayStation, so I do end up on PlayStation more. Pardon me. Whew.
Yeah.
But I absolutely adore them both. But the disrespect on the Nintendo Switch here is absolutely insane.
the Nintendo Switch cannot keep up with a PlayStation. or PS4.
Power-wise, no, but innovation-wise and just the quality of games on
Have
there.
you seen
Hell
Fortnite?
yeah.
Oh,
Fortnite's
fuck
shite.
off.
Have you seen Fortnite on
Zelda Breath
Switch?
of the Wild.
Say.
Yeah, Switch isn't all about the power, but Zelda Breath of the Wild is genuinely one of the best
We'll just carry
games
on,
of the
we'll carry
last
on.
10 years.
But
Yeah, Zelda Breath of the Wild
why
is
put
sensational.
why put games on there that you can't keep up with the graphics on then?
Nintendo's never been about keeping up on things like that.
Then
They've just always been about creating good and fun games.
Then why put Fortnite on there?
Because quite a few kids play Nintendo because it's seen as the family-friendly brand, so it made sense.
If you think about it,
Fuck
PlayStation,
thing, it's staying there.
family friendly is better than anything. I can still see you perfectly fine, George. It's alright.
But that isn't exclusively what's on the Switch. You get the better stuff like the classic Dooms on there.
Not a fan of Doom myself, but that's my opinion.
Ow.
Take it with a pinch of salt, Dave. Take it with a pinch of salt, Dave. I'm not a fan of Doom.
Yeah, you're hurting me with the lollies, mind. But yeah, and I genuinely believe Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of the best single-player games of the last 10 years.
All right,
It is absolutely sensational.
Sorry to cut you short on this one, but to wrap it all up, Dave, one question which I'm going to let to the viewers. Dave had to prepare for this question.
I did.
He asked me in advance.
Yeah.
What is your Bristol City XI?
This isn't the best, but it's my favourite.
That's what we did ours on. Our
position,
favourite, not the best favourite.
Goalkeeper, I'd be a criminal if I didn't say Adriano Basso. So I can't say anyone else.
4-4-2, by the way.
Yeah, it's
no, it's 4-4-2, Dave.
4-4-1-1.
No, it's 4-4-2.
What?
We have to have 4-4-2. Keep it all the same.
Yeah, but striker-wise, usually they leave on a bad note, so I only had one striker in mind. Because he did great for City, and he picked apart Chelsea, so I love him. Either way, Jamie McAllister left back, Bailey Wright right back, because I haven't adored right backs over the years, and I think Bailey Wright's probably my favourite.
Bit of Luke Ayling.
Maybe, but he's playing at Leeds now, so that sort of sours the taste buds a little bit with him. But centre back, I'd be a criminal if I didn't say Louis Carey. He played for City for 18 years?
Yeah.
And he still goes down there to this day, and I just absolutely love the guy. I think it was a few years ago he had the best moustache I've ever seen in my life, so I rate him for that as well. My other centre back, Thomas Callas. Because he's just brilliant. He's just great. Yeah, exactly. He's just.
Do you know I'm surprised you didn't put in there?
Who?
Aidan Flint.
Oh, he sort of.
Yeah, but
he left a sour taste in my mouth.
But he
as
helped
well.
us out so much.
Yeah, but then he went to Middlesbrough, which wasn't even a step up. That annoyed me.
But they
I want players to leave on a good note. I want them to take a step forward in their career. But what annoys me is when they leave our club, who is such a heartful club, for money. That's what annoys me. That turns me sour on a lot of players. Anyway,
carry on.
Like sort of the CDM central midfield role, I've got Corey Smith and Cole Scoofs. Yeah. Corey Smith because of his 95th minute against Manchester United on one of the best nights of my life, because I was there for the Man United game and oh my god was it amazing. Right. And Cole Scoofs because as a kid I just remember the whole stadium Scoofs all the time. Again, a lot of memories from when I was a kid. Left wing and right wing, they sort of go as a pairing because they were brilliant when they were at City. Is Yannick Bolasie on the left wing. Slight sour taste because he went to Crystal Palace, but I think they were a slight step up at the time, so I'll let him off. And Albert Adoma, because both of those two together back in the day for City were absolutely just awesome. They were fan favourites. Everything was good about it. So, I'm not going to lie, I had to fit this player in, so I put him in cam or centre forward if you really want to fit him in. Casey Palmer. Just love the geezer.
I'd let him shag my one.
Good. Casey Palmer! Right, and in striker, because I haven't liked many strikers over the years for City, and the ones that I have liked have usually just ended up taking a sidestep for money, I put John Stead. Because he was consistent for City. He was consistent for City, and then he went to Huddersfield and picked apart Chelsea. in like a 4-0 win. I think it was like FA Cup or something. And I watched that game live, and it was class.
Obviously, I can't change.
I rate John Stead.
I can't change your 11, but like I'm surprised Scotty Murray isn't in there.
Yeah, I think he was a bit before my time to like see him play. That's the only problem with Murray, is that I don't remember him playing.
Nicky Maynard, Dave.
Well, that goes sort of into my honourable mentions section, which I promise I will keep it brief. Honourable mentions: Daniel Bentley, Jens Hegler, Magnussen, Brownhill, Patterson, Lee Johnson. Those are the honourable mentions. And then the betrayers, the players that I did love, and now they're cunts. The players I did love, and now they sort of they left on a bad note.
Right.
Aidan Flint, Marlon Pack, Bobby Reed, Joe Bryan, Nicky Maynard, and David James. They've all done something to wrong us, and look where their careers are now. So, yeah. I think the only one out of those that are having a semi-decent time is probably Joe Bryan. So, yeah. He was my favourite player for a while, and then he left for money. So, cheers, bud.
Cheers, mate.
Well, that is Dave's. Oh god,
I went a bit over the top with it, but I had to mention. Go on.
As his name on pretty much everything, GoldenRush, but we call him Dave. That's his Bristol City, who is our local team. We also put Bristol City here. As I'm wearing the City shirt.
Up the Robins.
One team in Bristol, all that schnaz.
Well, nearly. Rovers going bankrupt and all that.
No, we are the only team in Bristol.
Always were.
They I think this has been an eventful podcast of technical difficulties.
Many tangents.
I might just leave it in for the banter.
What, me asking to go piss mid-podcast?
Yes.
You can leave that bit in as well, I don't care.
I might just leave this because I want it to be as raw as an experience, because we would do this on PlayStation. Like this is pretty much what we do on PlayStation. People come into our rooms, people fucking, let me go piss a minute. Don't start game, go piss. Go for a shit. So I like it being, sounds kind of mad, I like it being raw.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
But it's been a wonderful time talking to you, Dave. I hope we talk to you in the future when you get your blog up. When Dave's blog does go up and he does publish his stories, they will be in the description. I will say in the podcast when it is in the description.
Make sure to I'd like to come back and guest someday, maybe.
Yeah, in the future.
Guest again.
When Dave...
You can be a sort of regular, Dave, when it comes to the guests.
Oh, I'd love that.
I have a very extensive guest list. Dave was right at the top when me and Jord was thinking of a guest to be on. There will be guest. I think there might be a guest next week. We will see. I
look forward to it.
I'm gonna try and get a few guests on, but then leave it with me and George some weeks as well. So there might not be a guest on next week. Make sure to go follow my Twitter to find out if there's going to be a guest. I will leave a little teaser, a little clue for the next guest. And if you like the video, make sure to subscribe, comment down below what you liked about it, any questions you would like to ask us personally, and how did the first podcast go with a guest?
Good. Big dick energy. Go and follow.
I was nervous for half of it, to be honest, because it's just a bit different. But I'm sure I'll be all right if I'm a reoccurring.
Reoccurring guest. I think our Dave's gone, so me and Jordan
technical difficulties again.
From me and Jordan, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Friday.
I'll see you later, you lovely, lovely people.